So things are starting to get really serious around Assassin's Creed Shadows to the point where now the Japanese government is wanting to get involved. They just recently held a diet where they all got together and had a conversation about Assassin's Creed Shadows and their fear over the game, leading to potential imitation attacks on the country because of what is depicted in Assassin's Creed Shadows around the shrines and whatnot, and how you can damage religious monuments. They're very worried about it. But the hilarious thing is that after this diet, or while this diet was happening, there was an announcement that I made a video about already. Go check it out. It's on the channel right now, where they have essentially admitted there's going to be a day one patch that is going to stop the ability for shrines to be destroyed and for civilians to basically be, offed inside of the shrines or even around the shrines for that matter. They basically bent the knee to the diet, but that hasn't stopped the Japanese government from being worried about imitation attacks happening on the country because of this game. So let's get into this article, guys, from Insider Gaming. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says Japan's government is worried about imitation attacks based on Assassin's Creed Shadows. The government recently convened to discuss a series of topics in a diet, one of which was the recent controversy surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows. I honestly cannot believe that we are at a point where Ubisoft has a video game that is being governmentally talked about. It is such an insane story, and it is such an insane timeline to live in, that they have messed up so bad, that they have stepped in so much crap, that they are now being targeted by the Japanese government. I just cannot believe that you messed this up this bad. And then on top of that too, you have consultants, supposedly anyway. We all know what your consultants specialize in, and it's not gameplay. But you guys have consultants. How are you going to sit there and pretend as if your consultants are the most amazing thing in the world, and yet the Japanese government is so offended that they're talking about your game? Somebody clearly messed up here. The game's more scandalous scenes have showcased Yasuke, an African samurai, destroying shrines, sequences which have naturally prompted concerns in the Japanese government. In a recent discussion, Japan's prime minister voiced a strict response to these concerns, answering points raised by other party members, suggesting that imitation attacks could occur in real life. Now, here's the thing. This is a little bit of a slippery slope for me, because while I can understand their fear, it's also essentially going down the rabbit hole of, well, video games cause violence, right? That's kind of like the conversation that's being had here, and I can't necessarily agree with that, although I can understand why they would probably think that, to be honest with you, especially coming from Japan, which is a country that is all about respect, right? It's a country that's all about being more on the conservative side of things, not necessarily politically, just overall as a person. They're really reserved as people. They're not really extroverted. They're more introverted as a country. So they are not going to be, very accepting of very outlandish behavior like that, outlandish gameplay like that, where they're going to show you destroying shrines and whatnot and destroying religious monuments for Japan. But again, at the end of the day, man, it's still just a video game. I understand. It's just a video game. It's not happening in real life. I totally get it. But not everybody thinks like us, right? We are more accepting of that kind of stuff here in the West, whereas Japan and other countries are not so much as accepting. They're a little bit more offended, and it's not going to be a blanket point of view. It's not going to be a blanket answer. There's no way you can have a direct answer like this when you have two different countries, or three different countries in this case, four different countries, whatever. You can't have the same ideology. It's not going to happen. So you're either going to adhere to their principles, or you just really shouldn't be selling the game in their country. Anyway, so it says Hiruka Kata, a Lib Dem party member, brought up the topic of shrine destruction in Assassin's Creed Shadows at a recent diet, putting questions to the nation's prime minister. He explained, "I like to ask about the Assassin's Creed issue. In the game, the samurai protagonist smashes drums, sacred mirrors, and altars inside the worship hall of a shrine that appears under its real name. He slashes at people who appear to be priests, shoots arrows, and engages in other violent mayhem. When I asked the chief priest, he said that the game company had not contacted the shrine to ask for permission to use the name. The politician floated the suggestion that imitation attacks might take place at real shrines across Japan, and the other concerns like tourist pollution were also being considered. These details were reported by IT Media, which was picked up by Dexterdo." So here's the issue with this, right? So again, I understand people are going to be out there being like, well, this is very close to the video games cause violence argument. But you also have to understand what's been happening in Japan lately. Japan has been the target of absolute retarded Westerners lately that are mainly streamers, and they will go to Japan just to cause a ruckus in the hopes to go viral, knowing that that country has a very reserved nature, so they could be extroverted, and people are just going to try to ignore them, walk away, or whatever the case may be. But some of them have gotten in trouble with the police over there. Some of them have, in fact, gotten in trouble, and it's only getting worse. And that's why he brought up tourist pollution, where they're going to have just way too many tourists going to Japan because of Assassin's Creed Shadows, or at least that's their fear anyway. But to be honest with you, I feel like tourist pollution is already happening. I feel like Japan is already the target of a lot of idiots out there that are going there specifically to disrespect the country just so they could go viral online. It's already kind of happening, and I don't think Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to make it any worse or better at the end of the day. By way of response, the nation's Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru said, "It is absolutely unacceptable to graffiti a shrine. It is nothing but an insult to the country. It is natural to have respect for the culture and religion of a country, and I think it's important to send out the message that we will not tolerate any behavior that does not respect the culture and religion of a country and will not tolerate it. It was suggested that such wanton destruction of culturally significant facilities wasn't replicated in any other Assassin's Creed title, prompting further worries from the Japanese government. The comments made by the Prime Minister and other party members are not indicative of any further action." Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, man, I don't know if you guys are aware, but religious monuments, for the most part, were indestructible in other Assassin's Creed games. The fact that they made it destructible now just showcased one of two things. Either they knew that it was a religious monument and they wanted to destroy it. They knew it, right? Or they didn't know it and their consultants are garbage. Their supposed, checking and making sure to be authentic to Japan was garbage, right? Which I feel like all of it's true. I feel like they don't care, and they also have garbage consultants. I feel like it's both things, where they don't really have people that are leading them in the right direction. Whoever they hired for consultancy on Assassin's Creed Shadows was absolute garbage at their job. They don't know how to do their job, and it's unfortunate because this game could have been something that a lot of people were excited for. This game could have been something that a lot of people would have been playing, but unfortunately it seems as if they rather go for the modern audience. They rather go for the virtue signal because of what happened in 2020 when this game started development. They rather do that than give people what they've always wanted from feudal Japan Assassin's Creed, which would have been a Japanese male samurai. That would have been exactly what people wanted, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like that's what they're going to get. So anyway, the Japanese government looks like they're coming down on Assassin's Creed Shadows. Time is going to tell whether or not anything comes from this particular deal, but this is just the first of many issues that I'm sure Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be facing as we get ready for release tomorrow. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.